Hey, everybody, I'm Scott Wikle. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Thanks for joining us tonight. My very special guest has a brand new CD called Please Blue Moon, and I'm so happy to have her on the show tonight. I'm actually a little bit intimidated. She is a radio station personality and comes from a family of radio people, and she is the owner and operator of KSSL down in Texas, and I'm so happy to have her tonight, but I hope I don't stumble too bad. It's my pleasure to welcome Cathy Jewell. Cathy, how are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, and I enjoy your show. You did an incredible job, so thank you for having me on. I really appreciate that.
Well, it's an honor to have you, and right away I want to thank Billy Bowles for getting us in touch and getting this interview tonight. Billy's a great guy, and all of us DJs that are into keeping real country music alive, we all stick together. It's not a competition.
Yes, I totally agree with you, and we're proud to have Billy as part of our family at KSSL.
Absolutely, he puts on a fantastic show, and I always try to tune in when I can, and I know he tunes into my show, so we can all get a chance to listen to some good music that way.
Yes, he plays some good stuff.
Absolutely.
You do too.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, Cathy, you were for many years known as Cathy Witten, and a lot of folks will remember you playing your music on our show. So you are now going by Cathy Jewell. So
yes, sir.
We're just gonna go with that. I think that's a cool name. What a great stage name.
Thank you. I probably should have gone with that from the beginning just because it's my first and middle name, and of course Jewel was my grandmother's name, and now it's my granddaughter's name. So it's an important name in our family, and I'm just proud to have my grandmother's name. She was a very special lady to me, and I recently got married, and that was my husband's idea. He's always loved my name, and he said, "Why don't you go with Cathy Jewell?" So here it is, and I'm so glad everybody's embracing the new name.
Well, hey, that's great, and congratulations. That's fabulous.
Thank you.
Well, we could officially call you the Jewel of country music. How's that?
I love that. That's pretty cool.
We'll do that. That sounds great. Well, hey, before we get into all the current events and the new album, I'd like to get a little bit of your history, and I know that you grew up in a very musical family and a radio family. Give me a little bit of your background.
Okay, I'd love to. I grew up in the town of Post, Texas, home of Post Toasties and CW Post. And that's where my dad had the local radio station, which was an AM when I was younger. And my sister and I have actually three sisters, but my oldest sister is 13 months older than me, and she and I used to pretend like we were radio DJs because, of course, we were from a radio family. My granddad actually started in the radio business in the 50s and bought radio stations and was a very, I guess you could say, he was great at radio and just had that voice, kind of like Paul Harvey, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So he started out in the 50s, and then my dad followed in his footsteps, and so did my dad's two uncles, and then my dad ended up buying a radio station in Post, Texas when he was in his early 20s, and so I was just a baby when he bought the radio station. Anyway, my sister and I just fell in love with radio at a very young age. We couldn't go in any room of our house without hearing the radio station on because they were always monitoring it. And so we would get the old 45s from the radio station that my dad didn't need, and we had a little Fisher-Price turntable in the attic upstairs in our house, and she and I, my sister and I, would write commercials for imaginary clients and businesses, and then we would read those on the air in a hairbrush that we pretended was our microphone, and, we just had a big time. And when my dad found out about this, he was like, "Y'all are pretty good. Let me read some of those scripts that you wrote for the, radio clients and stuff like that." So he would read them, and he said, "Y'all are really good. Why don't y'all think about being on the air?" So when I was 13, I got to do a show after school at my dad's radio station, and that's where it all started. And when I was on the air, I would just soak in all the music, and that's where I developed my love for actually performing. I didn't start performing until I was 14, and I performed the first time in church, and of course, I felt like I was going to get very sick, and my knees were knocking, and it was not a good experience for me because I was very shy. But that's where it all began, and we had a good time as a radio family. As you know, Scott, things were a lot different back then than they are now in radio. It's still fun, but it was just different then.
Yeah. Well, that brings up an interesting question. With stations like what I'm doing with the internet and things, how do you work with internet radio, and do you find that's affected the FM and radio business, or do you kind of just go hand in hand with that and do I know you stream your shows, but how does that play for you?
We are definitely up with the times at KSSL. We have a free mobile app people can download, and you can go to kssLFM.com, and we're streaming on there 24/7. And I think it's a good thing. We monitor with Sound Exchange, of course, and know how many people are on there and how long they're listening and that kind of a thing. And we actually get a lot of listeners online. So I don't think it's a bad thing. As far as increasing our local listenership, I think that it's a nice extra avenue to have, So does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not sure exactly if I have.
and as far as there's, and I kind of hate categories to an extent, but there's such a division between the what they call the new country and the pop country and traditional country music. And how do you bridge that gap on your station?
Well, of course, we play the greatest country music ever recorded, and we also, of course, in that category includes the independent artists. So we're very proud to play people like Myra Rowland, and who you have on your show tonight as well. But we love playing the independent artists, but we play the real country music, the songs from Ray Price and Waylon Jennings and Patsy Cline and the Statler Brothers. So as far as this new stuff that they have out, it's not country. That's all I can say about that. I'm not putting the artist down. It's just it's not real country music.
Amen to that. I totally agree with you, and I have nothing against it. But the problem that I have, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, is I've never seen a genre of music that has shunned their older artists and their roots, like country music started to do, and especially in the '90s and the 2000s. But there seems to be a real big swing back toward the traditional country music, like you mentioned, artists that are doing independent stuff. And a lot of the big name artists, they've got their own record labels. They're going out and packing the concert halls, and they're going to stations that know that where they know they can get their music played.
Yes, and there is always going to be real country music, and there's a lot of us out there, and we want to keep it. We want to keep it country.
Amen. Thank you so much. And that's why I love to work with people like you, because we have a common goal, and I don't see any reason to be in competition. I think we all need every platform we can get to keep traditional country music going.
I totally agree, and I'm just thankful that you are doing it, and so many other disc jockeys are as well. So, yes, most definitely. We are all in this together, and, there's no I in team. We're all a team, and we're all working together, and I think it's great.
Absolutely. Now, you have a pretty big show coming up on October 12th at the Coyote store there in Gale, Texas, and that's the Urban Cowboys.
Yes, the last time that Johnny Lee was in town, actually the time before last, I wasn't able to make it to his last show, but he got me up there, and I was Lane Brody for the evening. I got to sing The Yellow Rose with him, which was an honor, and, I was beside myself excited, as you can well imagine, but the last time I wasn't there, he had my cell phone number, and he texted me, and he said, "Where are you, Lane?" He remembered me. It was a year later, and he remembered that I'd sang that song, and he actually texted me and asked me why I was not there.
That's
so
really
that
cool.
meant a lot to me, but I'm hoping that he asked me to sing the song on the 12th, because I'm going to be the MC for the evening. I'm the 2019 MC for the Coyotes through their season. This will be the last official show of the year.
Oh, that's great. I'm so glad that he's doing better and out there. Him and Gilly are just getting it, man. I think it's fabulous. And I've had both of them on my show several times, and they're such great people. Gilly is just the easiest guy to interview, because you pretty much just have to ask a question and then just sit back, because he'll take it from there.
Oh, yes. Yes. I interviewed him the other day, and I can vouch for that. He definitely doesn't need your help very much. He doesn't need you to lead him in the right direction. He's done it enough times that he's very good at doing interviews.
Absolutely. And so is Johnny Lee. Although with Johnny, sometimes I'm always really kind of glad that I record them ahead of time, because every once in a while, with internet radio, you get away with certain things, but you got to kind of be careful,
Yes, you have to pre-record him, because you might have to bleep a word or two out every now and then. But he definitely keeps things colorful.
He sure does. He sure does. Well, that's great.
But it's a sellout crowd. I talked to Becky, who is the owner of the Coyote. In fact, she called me right before you did, and she told me it's sold out.
That's great. And that's
Over
a
1,000
testament.
people there. I'm sorry.
That is a testament of the traditional country music is still going strong. All these artists are selling out all over, and people want to hear them. They want to see them, they want to hear them, and I think that's great.
I do too.
And then you, of course, are an Academy of Western Artist winner with your music, and you also are getting an award at the CMA of Texas Awards, and that's coming up on October 16th there in Lubbock.
October the 16th, that's correct. They're moving their award show, the CMA of Texas, from Houston to Lubbock, and so we're very excited about that. A lot of our local artists are going to be winning awards, and yes, including myself. Thank you, Scott, for bringing that to everybody's attention. I'm very proud I'll be the Artist of the Year 2020 for the CMA of Texas.
Hey, congratulations. That's great.
Thank you.
Folks, you can get more information on that at cooksgarage.com, and there are tickets available for that as well. That's in Lubbock, Texas on October the 16th, so that's going to be a great show, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your new album is absolutely stellar, and thank you so much for sending it to me. I've had a chance to listen to it several times. It's called Please Blue Moon, and folks, it's available at i2irecords.com, and we will put that information on our Facebook page. And Cathy also has her Facebook page, which is Cathy Jewell Music, and we'll put that on there as well as the KSSL Facebook page as well, or their website. We'll get all that information on there. You've got a Reverb Nation page. We'll get all that stuff on there so people can go and find your music. But the album is fabulous, and the title song was written by Bill Mack. Tell me a little bit about that song.
Yes, Billy Bowles is the one that introduced Bill Mack and myself, to one another. And when Bill heard my music, he said that my voice would lend itself to a song that he wrote in the 1960s that had been holding all these years, and he offered it to me. And when I heard it, I thought, yeah, that's definitely right up my alley. And so I recorded it, and he was very complimentary, and so I decided that it would be most perfect to make that my title cut of my CD.
It's a great song, and it's amazing that nobody's recorded it until now. I think it's an absolute gem.
Yes, I just think that it definitely shows off the real traditional country music.
Absolutely. And he also wrote Redneck Daddy that's on this CD, too.
Yes, when he sent me that one, he said, I've got a few more I want you to listen to. And he said, I just wrote this little ditty, and it was one that he had recently written a few years ago, and Redneck Daddy, the name of it. And my husband just absolutely loves that song. He said it just makes him laugh and smile every time he hears it. So it's a fun song.
It is a fun song. And for my listeners that may not know, Bill Mack is kind of a person that all of us country radio DJs, he kind of set the bar for us. And he's been so popular for these many years on the radio, and he's also had a very successful recording career as well. So he's among the DJs like you, Cathy, and like I was for many years too, that are performers and also do radio. So I think that by doing that, it gives you a very special edge to be able to talk to artists, and it really contributes to having a better show, I think.
Yeah, well, it definitely helps to have more knowledge and have that background. So I'm very thankful that I'm able to have that.
You betcha. And One Monkey Don't Stop No Show. This was a little David Wilkins song. I love this one.
Well, Dina Wood, do you know who Dina Wood is?
Oh, sure, you bet.
Okay, I figured you did. Well, if you ever meet Dina, you'll never forget her. She's just one of those people that's just such a class act and just such a wonderful lady. Well, I had asked her several years ago if she would be the president of my fan club, because she was doing all this stuff, promoting my music, promoting me, promoting the radio station, and she was doing it just because she wanted to, out of the goodness of her heart, because she believed in me. So I asked her if she'd be the president of my fan club, and she, of course, accepted. And so anyway, she heard this. She became friends with little David Wilkins, and she just thought when she heard that song that it would fit my style. And of course, I love to do sassy songs, and so she approached little David and asked him, and he was like, yeah, I'd love for her to record it. And what's so funny is the only other person that's recorded One Monkey Don't Stop No Show besides little David Wilkins is Mickey Gilley.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. I didn't know that. That's really neat.
Just a little bit of information there.
Well, that's a fun song. That's one of the songs we're going to play here in a little bit too, because I really like that one. Another song. This was a number one for Haggard back in 1978, and it was the title of an album. And it was a song he didn't write though. Chuck Howard wrote the song, but I've always loved it. It's called "I'm Always on a Mountain When I Fall." You did a stellar version of it on this album.
Well, thank you. I've had a lot of compliments on my version of that song, which means the world to me because I've always loved Merle Haggard, and I've liked that song for so many years, and I've always wanted to record it. So I finally just said I'm going to record this song, and when I sing it in public, people always, have requested it. So I'm so proud that I was able to do that song, and I'm hoping that Chuck Howard, who wrote it, and Merle Haggard are smiling from above on my version of it.
I'm sure they are. That was a very golden period for Merle Haggard. He was with Capitol Records for so many years, and most of his big hits were with Capitol. And then switching labels, as you well know, sometimes can be really great or it can be really bad. But for Merle,
yes,
it ushered in a terrific period in his career, and he had so many number ones like that song and "Stay Here and Drink" and "The Way I Am" and "Ramblin' Fever," and just cranked them out. And that was just a golden period for his music.
Yes, he definitely had one hit after another, and I loved them all.
Me too. Well, Cathy, you are also an excellent songwriter, and that is very well showcased on this album. And you've written 6 of the songs that are on this project. And tell me about a few of these songs.
Okay, I would love to. Of course, the last song on the CD is one I wrote for my parents, and so I'm hoping that it will be a song that people will play at anniversary celebrations and things like that, because it's just one of those type of songs. I wrote one for my granddaughter. Her name is Grayson, and she's my first grandchild. And so when I laid eyes on her, there's no feeling like when you have a grandchild. And everybody always said that, but once it happened to me, I just totally, of course I fell in love with my kids too, but it's just a different type of feeling when it's your grandchild. So I was very inspired to write that song, and it's about her. And it doesn't say Grayson anywhere in the lyrics, so anybody could, dedicate it to their own daughter or granddaughter. But that's a special song to me. And then, of course, I'm a Fighter. That's just a song about we all have things we have to go through in life, and you have to fight through it. So no matter what anybody says about you, no matter what happens to you, you still have to fight through it. That's kind of what that song's about.
Amen to that. I'm always curious when I talk to songwriters what your process is as far as coming up with songs. Do you sit down and say, I'm going to write a song, or does a mood strike you, and do you have a melody in mind when you write the lyrics?
That is a very good question, and I would say it's different on different songs, but sometimes the words and the melody come to me at the same time, and then sometimes it's the words, and I always have a recorder with me at all times, because when I'm driving down the road, I don't want to have an accident by having to write something down. But they always say that if you do not record it or write it down right when you think it, you won't remember it. And it's true, because I've had that happen to me. So I've learned to always, when I have an idea for a song, pop in my head to write it down or to record it. And so I would say that there's been times that I would have the words to a song for a long time. One of those would be "You've Got the Light." Now, both of my kids graduated 2 years apart in high school, and I started on that song when my son was a senior in high school. My daughter's 2 years younger than him. And I tried my best to finish it, and I just could not. I just couldn't finish it. And so 2 years later, I revisited it when my daughter was a senior in high school. I still couldn't finish it. And I actually finished it a couple of years ago. It took me that long, and I had the words, but I still did not have the melody. And I'm not a piano player, but I actually sat down at my keyboard in my music room and came up with the melody for that song.
Wow, that's really cool. That's a great song. I like "Glass House." I think that's a fantastic song.
Sometimes I'm a very positive person. I try to be anyway, and I try not to let negativity get inside of me and spoil my good day or my mood or distract me from where I'm headed. So, I went through a period where there was just a few naysayers, and I just thought, this is what I'm going to write, because there's nobody on the face of the planet that's perfect, and we all need to be careful not to live in that glass house.
Amen. I tell you, we need a lot more of that in this world right now. There's so much, it seems like everyone's offended by everything, and everybody is always looking at everyone else and blaming them. And it's like, we really just need to get back to, I wish things were simple again. I guess maybe that's the best way to put it.
Yes, sometimes we just have to, decompress. And, I personally myself, I think you just have to get back to the simpler things that you draw enjoyment out of. And, sometimes because life can be so hectic and there can be so many things on social media that can bring you down if you let it. So even on TV, I just think sometimes you just have to get away from all that, or at least that's what I have to do, and just decompress and just get back to the basics.
Amen. I'm with you there 100%, and that's probably why I gravitated toward that song, is I think it's a really good message,
That means a lot to me that you like my originals, and especially that one, because that was a very personal song for me. And I just think that it's so funny because you were talking about how do the words and the music come to you. And, in fact, Billy and I were talking about this because he really likes that song, but the music to it is different than what the rest of the CD is, but it was on purpose. And when I first wrote that song, in fact, I was talking to my husband about it, and I started telling him what I was thinking. He said, no, I think it needs to sound like this. And so he was giving me his opinion, which I was asking for it. But I said, no, I'm hearing the islands. I'm hearing the islands in this song. And I was hearing Jimmy Buffett, and I was hearing, like the beginning of it sounds like a Marty Robbins song. And so that's what I was hearing in my head. And so after I wrote the words, I thought it's going to have a fun sounding melody to it, but yet the words are going to be, here's the way I feel about this.
Yeah. Well, I like it. It's a great song.
Thank
I really
you.
do like it a lot. And folks, again, Cathy Jewell's CD is called Please Blue Moon, and it's available at i2irecords.com. We will put that information on our Facebook page. And make sure you go over to Cathy Jewell Music on Facebook, and also ReverbNation.com. And check out some of Cathy's wonderful music and where she's going to be. And if you get a chance to go see her, please do. And I know, Cathy, you got a lot of stuff lined up, and I think that's just great.
Thank you so much, Scott. It means a lot to me to have supporters like you, and I appreciate what you're doing there with your wonderful show.
Well, and likewise, and I am a fan of your station, and I encourage my listeners to tune in to KSSLFM.com, and you'll hear country music the way it should be, just like you will here on My Kind of Country. So I thank you for that, Cathy.
Well, thank you, and I just want to say blessings to you and the rest of this year as we move into 2020, and just keep playing that great country music.
You got it. And speaking of that, we're going to play some selections from your brand new album for our listeners, and I hope that folks will go get this CD. It's absolutely fabulous, and you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to hear a lot more of it too on our shows. Cathy Jewell, thank you again for being on My Kind of Country. It's always a pleasure. I hope you'll come back and visit again.
Anytime, Scott. You take care.
All right. That's Cathy Jewell here on My Kind of Country. Here's some great songs from Please Blue Moon, available at i2irecords.com. As we continue with My Kind of Country, it's Fish Creek Radio.
That's when the teardrops start. I'd rather live my life in total darkness than be caught in the sorrow of your life. Oh, please, please, blue moon, stop shining. Don't shine your light placed a ring around my finger. Though I see a ring around your satellite. Oh, please, please, blue moon, stop shining. Don't shine your light on me tonight. Don't shine your light on me tonight. Oh, please, blue moon. I hope your glass house never gets hit by a rock, and that the words you are slinging about me don't turn to stone and come back to shatter your glass house and leave you there standing all alone. It's so perfectly manicured with such fine detail to disguise all the things you are trying to hide. Outward beauty can be deceptive, concealing all the ugly inside. And I don't understand why you're focused on me. I've heard all over town the things you have spread, but the man who died on the cross has my back. So it doesn't matter what your mouth in your glass house has said. Talking trash and talking smack, the talk's all over town. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words won't bring me down. And I don't understand why you're focused on me. I've heard all over town the things you have spread, but the man who died on the cross has my back. So it doesn't matter what your mouth in your glass house has said. No, it doesn't matter what your mouth in your glass house has said. Most of my life, I've almost been a winner. I've come so close, but never really won. Just when I think I finally made it, I find myself back where I started from. I hate to say I'm giving up, but I believe losing's just become a way of life for me. Losing wouldn't be so bad at all. fall. Then you came along and had me believing. For once in my life, my luck had finally changed. And now you say you're gonna leave me. Seems everything I do winds up the same. I hate to say I'm giving up, but I believe losing's just become a way of life for me. Losing wouldn't be so bad at all, but I'm always on a mountain when I fall. Losing wouldn't be so bad at all, but I'm always on a mountain when I fall. You're the monkey that's on my back, always talking about making tracks, telling me that you're gonna leave. I think you stay just to torture me, but let me tell you something you may not know. One monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show. You're gonna go ahead and go. I can live without it and I want you to know. One monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show. Baby, I love you more and more. The love ain't like love was before. We love the same, but the feelings change. Love the show and life's a game. One monkey don't stop no show. You're gonna go ahead and go. I can live without it and I want you to know. One monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show. How can you tell me how to run my life when you ain't running yours halfway right? Try to tell me every breath to take. You try to tell me every move to make. You believe if you leave that the wheels won't go. But one monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show. You're gonna go ahead and go. I can live without it and I want you to know. One monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show. If you still feel the urge to leave and you don't wanna live with me, tell me now and watch me go. The curtain's going up for the second show. One monkey don't stop no show. You're gonna go ahead and go. I can live without it and I want you to know. One monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show.